Yeah, we would love to have you. And well, Shramee, we are with devs who are coming from Web 2, and
Oh,
we are
sweet.
all, I think everybody here submitted a project to Brussels to go
Oh,
to the Starknet C and the
oh,
Hacker
sweet.
House there. Yeah. And we would love to know who you are and what you do in Starknet. I know you are not with Cartridge anymore, but what did you do when you were? What are you doing now? So, yeah.
Um, yeah,
That,
sure. Shramee, hi there.
Hello, hello.
Yeah, I started back in 2014, and I started as a Web2 developer as well. I was doing websites a bit before 2014, back when I was in ninth grade. But then when I got to 10th grade, um, some like WordPress, I'm not sure if you guys have heard about it. There is released a new API, and then there was this company who wanted to develop something with the new API and was having a hard time finding developers. And they got in touch with me via someone else, and that's how I got like my first like cool software engineering project. And I slowly eased into it. Like I was still working with the same company until like 3 years ago, and then I set up my company in my consult. So I'm originally from Delhi in India, and I moved to Singapore in 2020, 2019, yeah. And then I was just exploring. I was a digital nomad before 2019, and I just stumbled across Singapore. Then I kind of liked the vibe there, so I decided to like set up my consultancy company in Singapore. And I was just doing the consultancy stuff and like, with the clients and stuff like that. Then around 2021, I started to feel a little um, missing some stuff. So I decided to get into some experimenting with Ethereum. And I had like some ideas that I wanted to build, and I was having like a really hard time like trying to get myself motivated. So I wrote a little Ethereum contract where you go and place a stake, and you give another person some rights to actually slash your stake if you don't manage to be committed to your project for a couple, I don't know, like months or something like that. So that's how I just like got into Web3. Then after the next year in 2022, I started a, a blockchain game on Starknet with my co-founders. So that's how I got introduced to Starknet. Same year in 2022, in December, Terence and some more like Sylve and Loaf, they decided that okay, it's very hard to build games on chain, and I had the same experience. So everybody decided, okay, we're gonna build Dojo. Dojo is gonna be this framework which is gonna standardize everything to basically make it easier to follow and build a structured game, because there are not many games like proper fully on chain games. So that's how Dojo was started, and that's how um, I got more integrated into this Starknet space. Then I did a bunch of projects, including Starklinks. I did some work on the sequencer for Starknet. I forget its name. It's um, I don't remember. It was like 1.5 years or so like ago. So sorry about that. But yeah, it was like the standard sequencer at the time. So I did some um, WebSocket like feature for the sequencer. And from then I just started doing more and more Starknet stuff. And then, okay, I found it very comfortable, and I got very cozy with how people were. Um, Taking a step back, I went to this conference, Starknet conference in Lisbon, actually a hacker house. And there I found, okay, people here are like truly like, just doing what they want to do, being like, not caring too much about a lot of stuff, just building cool stuff. And that was like my that actually got me more into Starknet. And then I joined Dojo and okay, before it gets too long-winded, let's try to get back to the question um, to Patty.
Mm-hmm. Hey.
Yeah, so do you have
Okay.
like
So
any? Yeah.
yeah. No, sorry. Well, we are all. You said you started on the 10th grade.
Ninth
um,
grade, actually.
Ninth grade. Yeah.
Yeah.
So many of us haven't, but I guess that with your experience, it helped you a lot with like get to know everything. And I wonder if with all of those years of experience, before we talk about dojo and that word, do you have any advice that would you would give like because you seem to have persisted in that way, like you seem to like it a lot. So
Mhm.
do you have any advice for us to like it a little bit more, or like not give up or continue with that?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I used to get stuck quite a lot, and yeah, it's very important to just keep at it. I was doing like 16 hours a day for like a bunch of days straight, like, and then maybe like, a bit less on the weekends, but still doing a lot on the weekends as well. So I think you just have to, jump into it with both feet, and be into, fully involved in it.
Nice.
It's
Any
just a lot
question?
of grinding. Sorry, no cool answer.
No, there are no shortcuts, right?
Sorry, can you repeat that? Oh yeah, no shortcuts. Yeah, correct.
Yes. But we are some of the groups here, some of the teams are working on things related with games. So could
Uh-huh.
you share a little bit more about your experience with Dojo? What are the cool things coming, or things that you would like to see build using Dojo, or the key features, the key opportunities if we use it?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So we're gonna have a lot of um autonomous world like things. So autonomous worlds is again something that we can talk about a lot because um there are no fully like functioning autonomous worlds. And but this opens a new opportunity for especially for sort of like a small team or like smaller independent efforts, is that with autonomous worlds you can start something in a very basic way, and instead of like building up building on it yourself. So I'll take a step back, and like years ago, the idea was okay, come up with an idea and develop this big whole thing in one chunk and then release it. Now there is this improvement that you start with something basic, do an MVP, and then slowly build upon it yourself. But with autonomous worlds, now we come up where you start with the basic structure and you can build it on it, of course, but you also let others build upon it. So that is an interesting area to explore for games.
So it would be like all autonomous world uh, games that we have right now. They are decentralized and open source. It's kind of
Yes.
inherited to that. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Do you know what autonomous word is? Anybody doesn't? Yeah. Can you tell us a little
Yeah.
what word is? Yeah.
Happy to. So it can mean a lot of things, but I will describe what um, my personal understanding of it is, because there are no famous, like, things which you say, okay, this thing is autonomous world. we don't have like, you need to have something with like 1,000 of active users, thousands of active users. But from my understanding, you create this world and you set some basic rules. Let's say you set a rule that in this world, there is this resource called wood, and it spawns at coordinates which have this sort of hash or something like that. You come up with this basic, like, very developer kind of a rule, and then you let people build on it. And then you can also say that whenever you use this resource, you can build something which can um, affect some other entity in the world. And then someone can say, okay, now if you put like 3 pieces of wood like that, and you can now build a spear. And then someone can say, okay, now in this world, there can be these entities that move around and they attack whoever they see. And now suddenly you have some animal in a world that is attacking you. Now you also have a spear that you can use to throw and kill the this creature which is trying to attack you. So you see, like, you just started with a world where people can spawn and there's some wood, and then someone else added this spear thing, someone else added this creature thing which comes and attacks you. So your efforts and your how to say, your knowing everythingness, like to have a complete picture of what you want it to be, it's much smaller. So you can roll things out much more faster and allow people to build on it based on what they think could go into the world.
And you mentioned that the developers are creating rules. Do you think that there
Yeah.
is a lack, or like there is a lack of game designers, or like there is an effort to uh, know what is game design in addition to be, because it's hard to study about autonomous world without studying the code. And then how can you be a game designer and also be a developer? How can you be a developer and a game designer at the same time? I think if you can comment on that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's again another very good question. This one, I think whenever you're adding rules to a game, it has a possibility of making your game shit. Because like you might have built something nice, and then someone says that, you know what, if you use a rock and a wood, now you have a spear which you can have, which you can use infinite amount of times, and it single shots every other creature. Now you have this OP thing which should not exist in the game because your game balance is broken. So if you want to effectively contribute to an autonomous world, you need to have, of course, you need some basic game design principles, and you need to learn some game design, but you also need to understand how this world is supposed to work. And now you cannot expect every contributor to, know that right off the start. So you could have something like a DAO, where you have some voters who can decide if this rule that this person is trying to add to this game, this world, makes sense for this world. So that's how I believe, like, autonomous worlds could grow. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
It makes sense. Makes sense. There's a lot of people that has no idea about gaming that is going to be proposing rules, and you need to try to create the structure to avoid bad ideas. But
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I have a question because I have no idea. I mean, I'm not a gamer. I used to be in the 90s, but that was long ago. But I'm not a gamer. I'm not familiar with the games that are being built, or the worlds being built on Starknet or in other blockchain projects. I wonder if there is any of those games or worlds has rules inspired in solar punk. Like energy efficiency things, green production of food, things like that. Because I think we should create those types of worlds, so people understand the rules of a different world that is possible. I don't know if there is anything that you know that is built on those rules. I would love to know.
No, I haven't seen myself, and I haven't seen any teams working on that either. So that's a very cool idea. And you can actually, are you already in the Dojo group?
No, not yet.
Yeah, I
Oh,
don't
so
think
you should, yeah.
anybody here. Maybe maybe I can add you to our Telegram and you share. Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, I can share the links to the groups. Yeah.
nice. But you can go ahead. Sorry, I'm monopolizing the screen.
Oh, no, it's cool.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
Shramee, nice to meet you. Ranulfo here.
Sorry. How do you spell that?
Ranulfo.
Harloof? Sorry, I totally couldn't. Sorry, I'm so sorry.
It's
How
hard
do you
to.
spell it? Huh?
Ranulfo.
How do you spell it?
Ranulfo.
Oh, Rolf.
Something like that.
Okay. Okay. So yes, what's the question?
Okay. We have a project in Costa Rica about coffee, and yeah, and the idea is to integrate. For example, if you buy coffee, you receive an NFT, and we intend to create our own on-chain world, on-chain game, where some challenges need energy. So in order to receive energy, you need to have some of the NFTs of the coffee. Okay.
Okay.
That's a way we can we have to integrate the on-chain world with the physical world, and vice versa. So what do you think about this idea?
This is a very cool idea, but it's also a bit challenging to do. But if you can pull it off, it would be really amazing to see for sure.
Okay, I will try.
Yeah. The challenges that I see is whenever you're trying to simulate something in the physical world with the on-chain world, we need some sort of like a trusted entity. And if that entity is managing both the physical thing as well as your the on-chain thing, then I think things get a little simpler, but still it's quite some yeah, there are quite some challenges involved. Like how do you ensure that one person who is entitled to get, let's say, one energy gets only one energy?
We need to think hard about this, but but the
No,
idea is,
it's a very cool idea for sure.
the idea is some type of NFTs we can give them some level of energy. Okay, for example, and in the game, if someone needs, for example, 30 levels of energy, and each NFT has 15, so they need to rent or buy 2 NFTs from the owners. Something like. But we need to work hard about this idea.
Yeah, cool. Yeah.
Nice. Well, I have many questions, but I think they for those questions, yeah, it would be nice to have more context about Dojo. And so you were about to, you got involved, and then also, what is Dojo? How can we like start contributing to games there? How can we drop our ideas there? And like, how does all of that work?
Yeah, that's a nice place to start. And before I get into this, for last 6 months, I've been very aggressively working on some cryptography parts, and I've been a bit disconnected from Dojo. I've been following, but like not actively, into and contributing as much. But so like whatever I say is like 6 months old, and Dojo is getting like better really fast. So some things might be a little different. But can you guys still hear me?
Yeah.
Perfect. So I saw the video get a bit blurry, so I just sweet. So Dojo is basically like an ECS framework. In an ECS framework, we have like entities, components, and systems. Basically, entities are a collection of components, and your systems are basically the functionality which acts on based on the components. So to give you an example, you could have a health component and let's say a movement component. So if it's a player is going to have a health component and a movement component, and anything with a movement component, you can actually move it. So you can move your guy around. It has this movement component. And anything that has a health component, let's say you also have an NPC which is going to attack you. So that guy also has a health component. Now you can write this system where you say anything that has this health component can take damage. So that system will apply to the NPC as well as the player. So with this kind of structuring, it makes it very easy to build highly flexible systems. And I believe this was popularized by Unity because they use ECS behind the scenes. And Dojo is essentially this ECS framework, and it includes Sozo. Sozo is for deploying stuff. You can do like building and deploying. So with Sozo Build, you just build all the contracts for all your systems, all your components, and easily deploy them and sync them with your local development machine or development network and your maybe, staging network as well as the mainnet. So that's Sozo. And then what you need is basically some place to run your game. And if you're thinking, oh, well, we already have our Starknet mainnet or we already have Starknet staging, your games are going to need a lot of throughput. So you won't be able to run them directly on Starknet. You will have to run them on a much faster and a bit simpler sequencer, which is Katana. So Dojo also comes with Katana, which is a sequencer, super fast, where you can run your games. And then you can push some data from your Katana instance over to Starknet. So you still enjoy the verifiability of your game and connect it with the financial instruments if you want to. And finally, last but not the least, we have this thing called Tori. Now, Tori is the indexer which creates a state of your whole game based on the components from Katana or any other sequencer, basically. So these three parts pretty much make Dojo. There are some other smaller parts which are not necessary to use, but they include some examples which you can get started with, or the parts where the Katana basically pushes its state over to the parent chain. So that parts you don't have to worry about too much, but those are also there.
Good. Nice. Any questions on the? Yes.
So, hi, my name is Lucas. I have a technical question. In case we are building a project, it's in the fire, it's not about games, but I want to know if you have so much value in the in how can I interact with two contracts, one interaction with another. And
How
if
do
you
you?
have any or anything like that.
Sorry, I did not get the last part, but do you mean like connection between two contracts?
Yeah, the interaction with between two contracts, exactly.
Okay. You can get started with this Cairo book. I'm not sure if you've heard of this, but this is an amazing resource. Also, there's this Starklinks for Cairo 1, which gives you a bunch of exercises which you can follow. And I think in Starknet 4 or Starknet 5 exercise, we talk about how you actually um, have multiple different contracts speak with each other. This is done via the ABI. So you use the ABI and you use the contract address that you want to connect with, and then you call the methods on that contract via the ABI. Does that make sense?
Já tá debaixo do meu travesseiro.
Yeah.
Dormir com ele lá da cama, pra dar sorte. Eu vou imprimir. Eu quero, vou deixar do lado. Tipo a Bíblia Sagrada.
Ele volta a dizer, o cara.
Aí aquela sua poesia, eu não mato. Tudo que tem.
Eu já vi um ritual que você deixa o livro aberto na página que você quer aprender, vai dormir, acorda.
Caraca.
O conhecimento está todo.
Eu acho que eu precisava ter usado essa hoje à noite, pô.
Só uma página é complicado, né?
Faz um script pra passar de página.
Boa!
Uma hora, passa a página.
Uma mãozinha assim, tipo, do Kindle.
Oh,
Tem que fazer.
Okay. Are you there?
yes, I am. I didn't really understand any of the last a minute or something like that.
I'm sorry, because the screen says we completely lost all the connection. It's trying to reconnect. So we started to ramble in Portuguese about how much Cairo book is now a sacred book for us.
Yeah.
We have it with us like.
Hey guys, hello.
Hello, we can hear you.
Oh, I turned off the video to see if that would make it a bit better.
Yeah.
No.
We prefer to see your face. It doesn't affect
Cool.
a lot.
Sweet. I prefer to see all you guys as well, because that makes it so much better, so much livelier.
True.
Yeah. So your advice would be to read the Cairo book and do the Starklinks. I know you contributed to Starklinks, right? You're responsible for it.
Yeah. True.
Congratulations.
Nice.
Very
Yeah, we've been using it a lot.
It's very hard and we suffered a lot, but thank you.
We analyzed all this. And
Yeah, I've
some
had
parts-
very mixed feedback, and I've been trying to think some ways to improve, but yeah, I think we are missing some areas. The jump is a bit steep, and then it gets too easy for some time, and then it's another steep step. So I guess it's a bit hard to smoothen out.
Yeah, we were just as a suggestion, and this is something that we were thinking that sometimes people learn better if we have like a project, or we can see or follow a project from start to finish, and then each step do a little piece of it, so you understand what this piece is working in the whole scope. Maybe something like that would be fun for Cairo too.
That's a very good suggestion. So Do you mean like you build smaller parts throughout the exercises to build like a something bigger thing that actually is like a more like a project kind of thing?
Exactly. So then you understand how this every piece works in the big project, something like that.
That's an amazing feedback. Can I have your name?
Yes, I'm Carla.
Kyla.
I'm Carla from
Sweet. That's a super suggestion. I'm actually just making a note of this right now. Yes.
Yeah. And today we have presentations. Today's the last day for the Hacker House. And we have presentations. That's why we are asking you, like, can you help with this? Because we're having issues with last minute issues. So I wanted to. I imagine you have been working. You made a lot of hackathons, right? Do you have any suggestions on presentations on how to like take the last step? You know, people here.
Yeah. I think for presentations, a demo is really nice, and like you can put like some part for the demo, but if you don't have a demo, just create some slides to describe what you have now and like what you want to build. So that helps with the presentations, I feel. But I'm still very bad at presentation, so not a good person to ask.
It's okay. And let me ask you, what are you right now? You said you are working on, you are studying cryptography, and you are not with Dojo, but if we have Dojo questions, we can ask you. Or
Definitely. If you have Dojo questions or if you have architecture related questions, maybe you want to do, I don't know, something a bit crazy, like let's say fully on-chain Steam, and you're figuring out how to like architect it. Happy to have a chat and stuff like that for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cool.
This is really
Yes.
helping a lot.
Yeah.
Sorry, what
Okay.
was that?
Oh no, I just say when you say we can also help, this is very good point because we still create the game, and probably in the future we will need the help, and because for us it's like a very new field, and now I know who enters Dojo game, and this is make me more like a more than yeah. Thank you, Karen.
Sweet. Yeah. Happy to connect for sure.
Thank you, Ashira.
And I know the meeting was for a whole hour, but I think some people here are like behind the schedule with the presentations. Do you want to continue? Because we really liked meeting and having this conversation, but I know I have a few people like asking, we have to hack right now. So
yeah, definitely get on with your hacking for sure. Yeah. And if any other questions, or we can just close the session.
Any questions? Oh yeah.
Just to finish, because we are working on our projects already. But there's also it's all to hear other ideas. So what will you be super excited to be being built on Starknet? What are like the best apps, the things that you think, we need this on Starknet? Just a
Great question.
Yeah.
Okay, so a bit of a spoiler. I'm already so I'm doing a bunch of cryptography stuff right now, but I'm already in conversation with building some real autonomous world kind of systems as well. So I think those are like very cool to work on, because you don't need to do everything in the beginning. You can just do like something simple that is fun to interact with. It doesn't even have to be like a full-blown game, just something that is cool to interact with. It's that's sweet. and you can say, you know what, if you like this, you can add to this experience. Maybe you can add some little platypus on our world if you like. I don't know, like, stuff like that. So that's something I'm personally looking into as well, and I encourage you guys to as well. That's a very good area you can develop in. Cool.
I have sorry, one question. Any
Yeah.
game that you created that we can play, that we can like look for it and see and interact?
Okay, there's this game called Starknet. I'm not sure if it's working, so I'm just gonna check real quick if it is live. Because it was a hackathon thing. I built it. We built it. It was a team of 3, and we forgot about it. So I'm just gonna see if it's still live. Where can I share the link? Do I share it here or on Telegram or something?
Telegram. Yeah.
Cool.
Also,
It
I
seems
would
like
love to
it's
know
live.
what are
Okay.
what are
Sorry.
the coolest games on at the moment?
Coolest games at the moment?
Yeah.
There are a bunch of people building cool games, but it's a new thing. So I expect like the cool games to be released in like next quarter-ish around. So the next half, the second half of 2024, I think that's when we're going to see like more games releasing.
So we will stay tuned.
Yeah. Excited.
Sweet. You. Yeah, so the link I will share on Telegram. Got it.
Brazil.
Oh yes.
This is important.
Are you coming to Brazil?
I don't know right now. Which is there like an event or something?
Well, we are planning, but it's still in the ideation phase. An event on September.
September. I
love to
think
have
I'm
you
going to
here.
be at. Yeah. I think I'm
We
going
would
to
love
be in. Yeah, I'll be for Dojo. There's this like sensei program, something like that, in New York. So I might be going there. But after that, I would definitely love to visit Brazil. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, maybe on your way back you can stop at Brazil.
A little detour, but
Oh yeah,
Take the long route.
yeah, yeah. Would love to meet you all for sure. So where is the good place to post the link?
You can post it on, well, the best channel would be, it's all in Portuguese. It's registros colaborativos, is collaborative registers.
Good.
You
Shared.
found it?
Yeah.
Yay! Now you see, you are natural in Portuguese.
Well, thanks to Lisbon. Actually, I met some cool people from Brazil in Lisbon as well, because they were there for this, I don't know, Web2 thing. I don't really remember. There was this, Web Summit. Yeah, then.
Nice.
And here's more
Cool.
tips
So
than
there's
you
a
are.
link, and I'll also share. Sorry?
Here's more cheap than New York. Here you can enjoy more.
cheaper
And-
than New York, yeah, for sure.
Sorry, I couldn't.
Oh, no problem. Here's more cheaper than New York. New York is like more expensive,
Oh.
and the people is like it's not happy like us. I joke.
I love cheap. I love Thailand for this reason. Like, so nice, and it's
Yeah.
so beautiful
You are-
nature.
Wait,
I
wait,
would love.
wait.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Then I'll
Um,
add some links to Dojo and Dojo's channels as well. And yeah, feel free to hit me up there on Telegram.
We will. Thank you so much for coming. It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you. Thank
Bye bye.
you.
Same here. A lot of fun. Bye.
Bye.